Hi friends, today we will discuss about food chains and food webs, right? As we all know that these food chains and food webs plays very important role of any ecosystem. For the transfer of food and energy, we need to understand what is the basic concept of food chain as well as food web. So, if you could see on the screen, there are two examples. Number one is pond ecosystem, another one is grassland ecosystem. So, in a pond ecosystem, if you want to explain what is a food chain, you could see there are different organisms placed number 1, 2, 3 and 4 different trophic levels. So, every higher organism feeding on the lower level organism to obtain its food as well as energy. That means they continuously eating and that particular organism is being eaten by next higher level organism. So there we can find the formation of a linear sequence lines, right? Similarly, that you could also observe in the grassland ecosystem. See, tropic level 1, tropic level 2, 3, 4 and 5 different tropic levels, and every individual organism obtaining its food from the lower level and act itself as a food for the next higher organism. And hence a sequence of organisms that are eating and being eaten by the next level is called food chain, right? So in a food chain, if you observe carefully, always the first or the basic trophic level will be occupied by green plants, because we all know that green plants can produce food for themselves as well as the food for other organisms by using simple inorganic raw materials. By using simple inorganic raw materials and convert them into complex organic materials. What does it mean by complex organic material? Is nothing but food. Complex organic material is nothing but food. So hence producers can convert all these simple inorganic substances into complex organic materials. They are also called as transducers. Transducers. So herbivores, the next level organism, and carnivores, the top level organisms in the food in the any ecosystem, can be considered as consumers. But the herbivores right away can be called as primary consumers and carnivores as secondary consumers. In an ecosystem, herbivores can convert all the plant material into animal material by feeding on the plants. That's the reason why herbivores are called as key industry animals. Key industry animals. And carnivores, we all know that they are the top or the apex organisms in any kind of ecosystem, right? So the next important concept that we need to understand here is even green plants will die, herbivores will die, carnivores will die. So all these complex organic material that has been prepared by the producers and transferred to different organisms like herbivores and carnivores should be converted into simple inorganic raw materials again, and that particular responsibility will be taken by the decomposers. So these decomposers, since decomposers can reduce the complex organic materials into simple inorganic substances, these are also called as decomposers are also called as reducers. Reducers. So friends, in this way we are supposed to learn what are the responsibilities of different organisms in an ecosystem and what are the other technical names as per these responsibilities are concerned, right? And technically, there are two types of food chains normally exist in the nature. The first one is grazing food chain, another one is detritus food chain. So all these said above examples in a pond ecosystem or a grassland ecosystem, all the ecosystems and food chains which starts with the green plants are considered as grazing food chain. Sometimes some food chains are also starts with the dead and decay. Dead and decay. These kind of food chains are called as detritus food chains. For example, say leaf litter. Leaf litter, once a leaf or any part of the plant, if it fallen, died, obviously there are certain organisms which depends on these decomposing or dead and decay materials for their food and energy, and the best example is algae. And these algae will be eaten by the small fish, and then these small fish will be eaten by the big fish. So here if you observe, eventually this food chain starts with dead and decay. So if any food chain starts with dead and decay, that type of food chain can be considered as detritus food chain, right? Two types of food chains, grazing food chain and detritus food chain. That's about food chains. And now let us talk about food web. If you see in the example, there are different organisms can see on the screen. So grass will be eaten by the rabbit, and rabbit will be eaten by the eagle. What happens if rabbit continuously eat the grass? So one fine day, grass will be disappear. As soon as grass disappears, rabbit disappears and eagle also disappears. So what we need to understand here is, if any organism continuously depends on any kind of lower organism, if rabbit continuously feed on the grass, grass will be disappear. As a result, because of lack of food, rabbit population can also be eliminated. There is a huge chance can also be eliminated. Since grass is absent, rabbits are absent, producers are absent, as well as herbivores are absent. Obviously, the stress can be extended towards top organism of the ecosystem, that is eagle, lion, tiger, whatever it is. So even lack of food, even those top carnivores can also be eliminated. So the entire ecosystem will be collapsed. So to stop this destruction, nature will provide so many alternatives for every single organism. So if the grass is disappears while rabbit is continuously feed upon the grass, as soon as grass disappears from the ecosystem, rabbit will start feeding on other organisms or producers like creepers, herbs, shrubs, and small other plants. As a result, rabbit or nature will give a chance for the grass to come back into the ecosystem again. So one fine day, the alternative food like herbs and shrubs will get decreased, and slowly grass population will get increased. So in such a way, in every ecosystem, if you observe clearly, there are many numbers of food chains. Food chain number 1, food chain number 2, food chain number 3, and food chain number 4. So in every ecosystem, there are many numbers of food chains basically exist. Right? Now, interlinked network of different food chains. So in this picture, you should observe there are different connections and different connectivity between these kind of food chains of an ecosystem. And this particular relation or interlinked network of different food chains is called as a food web. The beauty of food web is to stop destruction of the ecosystem by providing many alternative food for every organism. That is called food web. Right, friends? Thank you so much.